Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Chief David Malloy, Director of Public Safety here for the City of Novi. And it's certainly my honor to introduce Assistant Chief Eric Zinser. And it's the first time we've been able to do that here on Behind the Badge. Congratulations and welcome, Assistant Chief Zinser.
Thank you, Chief. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it was certainly an honor a few weeks ago to promote you to the rank of Assistant Chief here in the Novi Police Department, and you're going to be overseeing all of our operations assets, so basically all of our uniform assets. Tell the audience a little bit about your background, your education, your experience in law enforcement, and what positions you've held prior to your current one.
I graduated from Ferris State University in 1991 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I started my law enforcement career on Mackinac Island as a seasonal police officer. From there, my career flourished and grew there. I was promoted to lieutenant in 1994, served there in that capacity for 4 years before I joined the Novi Police Department in 1998. Since I've been to the Novi Police Department, I've been very fortunate to hold numerous different positions, including range officer, field training officer, served as a detective, served in the Crime Prevention Bureau, served as a DARE officer over at Novi Meadows 6th grade house for 2 years. I was promoted to sergeant in 2008, where I served as a road patrol sergeant for 4 years before I was promoted to lieutenant. When I was promoted to lieutenant, I oversaw the road patrol division, 12 officers. I served as lieutenant for 2 years before I was promoted to assistant chief of police.
And now in your new role, you're going to be over all of our operations, all of our uniform assets. What do you envision to be some of the changes that you're going to take a look at?
Some of the changes I'd like to see is more along the lines of our officers continuing to enhance our community policing initiatives, get out in our neighborhoods, contact the neighborhood associations. What can we do for them? Oftentimes they have issues within their neighborhoods that sometimes don't get addressed, and they turn to us for help to solve those problems.
And I think that's a great segue into if there's any homeowner associations out there, or any community groups or neighborhood associations, Village Oaks, Fox Run, Island Lake, whatever it might be, shoot me an email. Go onto our website, look for my email, look for Assistant Chief Zinser's email, send us an email. We'll have a police officer, we'll have a firefighter. They will come out to your homeowners association. If you have a concern, you can send us an email. We can have our community policing supervisors. We have a map on cityofnovi.org that shows who the supervisors are for those districts that they might live in, and we can bring resources to your community meetings.
Well, we certainly can, and by having the sergeant's email assigned to a district on the website, it makes it very easy for the public to contact our department, talk to the sergeant who's directly overseeing the assigned road patrol officers in their particular area.
And another thing I think the residents should know about is on our website they can actually sign up for links. They can sign up for our crimemapping.com through the Omega group, to where they can get alert when there's a crime in their area, or they can get an alert when there's any crime reported in the city. And that's pretty much real time, within 6 to 8 hours. But we also have the Nixle service where people can sign up for traffic alerts. And I know we put several of those out a week as well.
Well, yeah, the Nixle works very well. I mean, when there's traffic tie-ups, accidents at intersections, if you're signed up for the Nixle alert, it tells you ahead of time, and if you happen to be traveling through that area, you can reroute yourself to avoid the traffic congestion. And it also, we put on there too, when we have neighborhoods close their streets off for block parties. If you happen to be signed up, you'll know when those things are going on too.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for giving us that real brief overview of not only yourself, but also where we're taking our operations section. We're going to take a real quick break here on Behind the Badge, so continue to watch Novi Television. We'll be right back.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. We are continuing to be joined here by Assistant Chief Eric Zinser. Chief, tell us a little bit about some of the other community programs that we have. I know when residents go out of town, we can help them in that area in terms of keeping their home safe.
Well, we have our Home Watch program. You can go to citynovi.org, fill out an application for your home to be for our home watch program, where we will come out 24 hours a day and check your home while you're on vacation. You just tell us when you're leaving and when you're coming back, and periodically while you're gone, we will check on your home to make sure it is safe and that nobody's breaking in.
And then obviously we get emergency contact, so if you're out of state, we know who to call, but we also take some of your emergency contact by maybe having a family member who's close or in the area, and they can come back. And I know we do thousands of those a year, not only our men and women in our uniform division, but we also have our handicap patrol volunteers, volunteers from Novi, your neighbors, that come out, and they help do some of those too when the officers get tied up.
Exactly. A couple of years ago, we incorporated working our handicap volunteers into the home watch program, because what we were finding, sometimes officers are tied up, they're not able to get by the house right away. Our handicap patrol can check on the house during the daytime when the officers are tied up, and at nighttime the officers get out there all hours of the night to check on the home. If we find a problem, when we have that emergency contact, we can certainly reach out to your emergency contact and notify them.
Excellent. What other community programs do we have that residents could take advantage of?
We also have our school bus violation program. You know, oftentimes there's people, they violate the flashing red light on the school bus when the police officers aren't around. The school bus drivers can identify, you know, the vehicle. They'll oftentimes get the license plate number. They can go right online. They can fill out the school bus violation form online, submit that directly to our dispatch center, where a police officer can follow up with that. Recently, we're starting to see a trend now where school buses have cameras on them, on their flashing red sign that comes out when they're stopped, so that video evidence is also recorded when the violation occurs.
And that's so key with our young people, and regardless of whether they're going to cross the road in front of the bus or cross the traffic area, it's important for the motorist to understand when those red signals are flashing, and that on the newer buses, that stop sign's folded out on the driver's side, they have to come to a stop.
Correct. And what a lot of times people don't realize, those signs and those red lights can come on suddenly. And if you're coming over a hill and you're not prepared for it, you could have to slam on your brakes. And it's a good idea to kind of be aware of the hours of the day and just kind of be watching out for the school buses when they may be dropping kids off. So you're kind of prepared ahead of time, rather than having to slam on your brakes and maybe cause a rear-end accident or something along those lines when it happens. So.
Excellent. Talk to us a little bit about directed traffic enforcement. I know we have directed traffic officers, but if a citizen has a concern in their neighborhood, how do they get a hold of us and how do they report that?
Citizens can get a hold of us a number of ways. I mean, they can call us on telephone, they can call the dispatch center, they can call the sergeant's office directly. They can go to the website and look at our patrol map on there and hover over their area. It'll again show the sergeant's email address that's assigned to that area, where they can contact them. So we can get that information out to our patrol officers at our daily briefings. So we need to know the times that it's happening and the days that it's happening, so that we can be there for that targeted time and have an effective plan in terms of moving forward. Oftentimes people will call us with a speeding complaint or a complaint of loud music or something. We need to know what time those are happening so we can be there when it's...
And I know we always follow what I refer to as the 3E and the 3E rule in terms of traffic safety. Number one is education. If we can educate the motorists, and many times when it's a residential issue, it's really people who live in your own subdivision or other Novi residents who might be visiting, or their children. So education's key. We also do it through engineering. Sometimes it's we need stop signs here, or we need to take a look at. All of our speed limits are not artificially set here in Novi. We follow the Michigan Manual Uniform Traffic Code, where they are all substantiated and validated with an engineering study by a professional traffic engineer, and we really follow the 85th percentile rule on how fast is 85% of the traffic going. And then lastly is enforcement, and that's always our last option, but sometimes that is an effective option. And when we say enforcement, we're not talking a ticket. Sometimes, as you know, and many times, and particularly with some of our younger drivers and maybe some of our older adults, a warning is better than an actual violation.
Well, it is, especially with the younger drivers. Oftentimes when people call in with their speeding complaints, they think we default right to the enforcement, and oftentimes that's not the case. We can go to homeowner association meetings, we can educate all the people in attendance there on what the speed limit is on the street, what times of the day we're seeing activity. Oftentimes people think when we stop cars, it's to write tickets, and that's not the case. A lot of times we stop cars, give those warnings to educate people, because sometimes people are they're just not paying attention, and sometimes they just don't know, and you can have more of an effect on people a lot of times by just telling them, explaining to them what the speed limit is or what the violation was that they had, and now they know for the future.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Assistant Chief, congratulations again on your promotion, and I look forward to working with you in this new capacity as you lead our precious assets in our uniformed division, and look forward to great successes. So thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Chief, and I look forward to serving the City of Novi as Assistant Chief of Police.
Thank you. And to you, the viewing audience, thank you for tuning in once again to Behind the Badge, and until next time, continue to watch Novi Television.